Hey guys, this is Mike
And Joe,
from Deepwood Force of Will.
we're back here again. I
We're
can't
back
believe
again.
it.
We're back again. It's been much too long since we've done an actual set review. I don't think we did a set review of the last set, if I remember right.
Yeah, it wasn't that interesting episode.
Yeah, but this one though, Magic Stone Wars 0, is very interesting.
There's a lot of cool cards.
And a lot of broken cards.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about those broken cards.
We're going to teach you which ones to look out for.
And which ones to be upset about when your opponent pulls them in draft.
Yeah. So, we'll be going over the top 10 cards of Magic Stone Wars 0. These are in what ordering on this set was a little bit tough because the top like 5 were really easy to figure out, and then everything else was kind of like, oh, this seems cool. Oh, this might be good. Oh, this is probably good in this situation. And it's like, okay.
You know, just typical. This is how we find cards in a set, and here are the ones that are definitely making it into the decks. Here are the ones that might make a deck.
Mm-hmm. So,
but they're good.
They're always going to be good. Set's got a lot of really good cards, a lot of interesting cards, and we're going to start off real quick with Magic Stone Research Institute.
It's a green-black edition.
Yep. When it enters, you banish Magic Stone, put the top card of your Magic Stone deck into the field. Doesn't say rested. Very important note. J-Res needs you control, gain +2/+2 for each different name among all Magic Stones you control, and you can rest a recovered J-Ruler to remove all cards in your opponent's graveyard from the game.
It's got 3 separate effects that have all been on different cards and all been pretty powerful.
Yep. We see that first effect, obviously, from Grisbalesta's theme for this set of sacking stones to get stones, or, sacking no stones to get stones, but that's, considering he's cheating right now. Hoping that's addressed in the future, but currently that's, we're assessing things based on the fact that Grisbalesta starts the game off with 2 stones.
Yeah. And having this card be a 2-cost that refunds you a stone is really nice.
Yep, especially because the ability to remove everything from the game is kind of reminiscent of something like Evil Elemental Uprising from back in Ray Cluster, and having that to hose Rizard, who's been at the top of its game since it was printed, probably going to be pretty nice, yeah. So,
and then it also gives that blanket buff to the board, which can get pretty powerful. It's usually a +4/+4 to a +8/+8 throughout the course of a game, and that's nothing to cough at. That's a whole 2-drop worth of stats just being added to everything you play.
Yep, exactly. So, all in all, the card is just very strong. Does a lot.
It's very versatile too.
It's very versatile, and that's probably the biggest thing. A lot of these cards are just kind of the best that they can be in terms of their versatility, and we see that with a lot of cards just having these multimodal abilities, and a lot of things having really cool effects tacked onto their Restic recovered J-Ruler you control.
Yep.
So
that's how Force of Will is going to be working forever now.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, at least for this set, assuming.
No, I mean just like multimodal, super powerful stuff that cards have 3 lines of text for no reason.
Oh yeah, true.
Anyway,
moving on to our number 9 spot, we have Viola, Spirit of Oblivion.
that's an interesting card.
Yeah, it's a 5/6 for water. Has quick cast. When it enters, you are able to, what is it? It's to put target non-resonator spell on the bottom of its owner's deck? Yeah. Spin a spell. And then you can also remove from the grave to give a water J-Ruler you control 4 +1/+1 counters.
Amazing. They gave blue a cancel.
It's kind of insane. Yeah.
We're finally Magic. No, this card's really cool, honestly. The fact that it specifically hits non-J-Ruler entities is really good, because it means it's not just like some Omni negate that you saw with something like, a Final Breeze or... let's not go into too much detail. But we got some good cards here. But the main thing is, it's definitely a great card for blue. It fits their theme well.
Yep.
And it's also just, a 5/6 for 2 that also has an ability after it hits grave. Like, what's not to like about this card?
Yep. One of the biggest things is the fact that we're still in, post Origin cluster going into Saga cluster, so you do have the ability to spin Regalia back to the bottom of the deck, which is really relevant for when you're facing something like, Rizard. If you're facing like a Lenneth deck trying to put a bunch of 12 protective deities on board, you stop their Caduceus, they don't get those infinite resources. There's a lot of neat stuff this card does.
Yep, it's got its perks, and it being in blue means that blues can start being like a powerful color again.
Yeah, this card's a very, very good sign of things to come in blue.
Yep.
Moving on to the next one, we've got Awakening of the Magic Stones.
That is a black card.
Yeah, it's 1 darkness for a quick cast spell. You can remove from the game any number of magic stones you control or in your graveyard, and for each one removed this way, you produce 1 darkness will.
It's not my favorite card from the set, but I think Mike likes this card more than I do.
This card is one of those cards that, like, at first looks a little unassuming. It's just like, alright, cool, just sack some stones, get some will, just kind of turn into stuff. But the fact that you can, sack stones after you've tapped them for will is actually pretty solid. If you're playing Gruz Ballista's technique. If you're playing Gruz Ballista's strategy of having a bunch of cards that sack your stones, put them into the grave, get new stones back, you're already loading up for the card anyway, so it's basically just a massive swing turn card. And most of my implications of it come from, Conqueror, Wanderer, Epic Stories, where this card into a bold strategy like Steam Explosion combos just sounds like a lot of fun. It's a card that I think will only get better the more good things that Darkness has in its wheelhouse, because the fact that it creates that much Darkness will means that you have as much Darkness or Void as you need. So something big, say like, if anything like a Griffin comes out that doesn't need green, this card just says, hey, you can play this on like turn 3 probably.
It has its implications.
Yeah.
And for right now, it's a little bit restricted because it doesn't come down like turn 2 or turn 3 very effectively. But overall, it's going to be a powerful card, and it has its implications right now in certain ways. Just got to figure it out.
Exactly. It's one of those cards whose ceiling is really, really high for what it can do. And it's going to be a testament to player ingenuity for how good that card is going forward.
Yep. So we give it the number 8 spot for now.
Yep.
Moving on, we've got the Spirits of Fire and Water, which is a red-blue Resonator Spirit. It gains +4/+4 if your ruler is Molest. It gains Quick Cast if your ruler is Mujdart. And it also gains Prevent the First Damage that would be dealt with this card each turn if your ruler is Mujdart.
I'm just very glad they printed Eva Plus for Milus Mujdart.
Yeah, Eva being the 2-drop 10/10 doll from Sherry format that made her such a burden to deal with.
Yep. The card was so good that it was banned from the Sherry deck for a while before Sherry herself got banned. And the fact that this card is also just, 1 red, 1 blue for 1,000/1,000 with Quick Cast and the ability to prevent damage to itself is a huge push for Milus Mujdart. Enough to where
it might be enough reason to actually want to play it.
Yeah, you might be actually willing to play a red-blue deck without being a meme.
Yeah, and it's just a question of whether or not, playing 10/10s with Quick Cast and having difficult to destroy effects on them is good enough.
Yep.
It should be.
It should be. This is all going to be whether or not Tempo remains mediocre in Force of Will as it has for a little while now. If Tempo ever comes back as the main source of, good
this
decks,
will be crushing it.
Yeah. So it's going to be meta dependent, but we think that as a standalone card and as a card that's meant to push this red-blue, lovers deck of Milus and Mujdart, this card's definitely a push.
It's a good card.
It's a very good card.
That.
Speaking of good cards, for number 6, we have Umar at Towel, Keymaster of Outerworld, who is a Cthulhu for red, blue, and black. He's an 8/8. You can remove him from your hand from the game to produce any of those 3 colors that are in his cost, but use it to only play Cthulhu cards. You can play him from your removed area, and if you awaken him with red, blue, and black, you can also put a Resonator from your opponent's graveyard into your fields.
we're not really caring about the Awakening Enter. It's definitely a cute enter to
It's a very cute enter, yeah.
But just being able to remove it from your hand as an extra will coin. You know what card used to do that and used to do really broken things? Levitine.
Yeah. I think the biggest things... This card was featured on the list over... Spoiler alert, over the other Cthulhu's. Because we think that, despite the other ones being, you know, the main catalysts for that shove into Yog-Sothoth FTK engine, Umar is the one that makes it happen on turn 1. And the fact that he is so integral to that is a testament how strong he is.
Yeah, mana cheating is just so important to that deck because, you know, one turn behind on that whole combo can just make it fall flat.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing existing just makes everything happening one turn faster, lets you do more in a turn. That's a big thing too. Just if you're winding up going into later turns, just being able to do more in a turn because of cards like this are huge when it comes to Force Will.
Yep. And the fact that he also just comes with the body that you can play from the removed area means that you're not losing any hand advantage by pitching him to do this effect, which is very
and his enter's a +1.
His enter is a +1, and you can pay for that Awakening with Wolfgang, which obviously we're going to be seeing for all the Cthulhu's, but
yep,
it's very strong card, and he can pay for himself, which is kind of hilarious too.
If you want to go that route, you get that power.
Just a 2 will take something for your opponent's graveyard.
Pretty good.
Yep.
But next up, we've got the biggest meme of the set that I don't respect as a card, but it's going to be played no matter what.
Yep.
And that's Ultra Magic Stone Golem.
He's big boy.
The 9-drop Golem Resonator with Precision and Pierce. You can pay 2 less for each different name among all magic stones you control. With an enter ability of destroy all J Resonators your opponent controls will attack less than the attack of this card. I don't respect 2020s, but I also died of 2020, so I guess I'm just foolish.
You might be, unfortunately. Now, Golem is one of those cards that is the ultimate payoff that I can see for a strategy like what Gruselblessed is trying to do, with having all these extra stones with different names. Obviously, Gruselblessed himself on the flip side can be a payoff card, but the Golem coming out on turn 2 is a big deal. And after turn 2, they're just 1-will Golems that you can cast whenever. I see people saying, you know, obviously they'll die to removal. First of all, terrible argument. Second of all,
this card is removal.
Yes. This card is minimum 1-for-1ing if you're 2-for-1ing if your opponent has to deal with it in some way. Obviously, value game doesn't apply as much to Force of Will when you're just, you know, dying on turn 3. But assuming that Golem is enough to stabilize you and put a big enough body out so that your opponent can't really deal with you, having the ability to just follow it up after removal with another 1-for-1, another 1-for-1, another 1-for-1, their final battles on 2020 bodies. It's kind of nuts.
We do have to have the asterisk here that this is assuming that Gruselblessed is able to cheat a stone on turn 1.
Yep.
If he can't do that, then obviously it goes back to turn 3, and this card becomes even slower than what I think it is, because,
yep.
I don't know. I don't like cards that I can't swing with until turn 4.
Yep, that's true. I definitely agree with that. I do think that if Gruselblessed kind of leans into this, you know, get stones back from the grave after sacking them thing, maybe you see it, but it seems a little bit far gone.
So, it's a good card. I'm hoping I never see it, and I'm just going to tell people that's bad until they stop playing it, and then maybe I'll never see it, and that'll be great.
There you go.
Then I don't have to play removal. Perfect.
Anyway, next up on the list is Princess Kagia, and also Flying Bamboo. We've got to talk about both of them, because they're kind of intertwined.
Yep. So, Princess Kagia is the Resonator Fairy Tale 2-drop. If you would produce Will with a magic stone you control, produce that Will plus Moon instead. Calling a magic stone does not cause your J rulers to rest. And you can pay Will Moon to give this card +2/+2 and flying until end of turn. Flying Bamboo, on the other hand, you can take this part.
Yep, I'll take Flying Bamboo. It's a quick cast spell for 1 light and a colorless. Choose a rule with text which
6 sages. Woof! You control and a ruler with tags to changes you own from outside the game. Swap those rulers, and if you paid Moon for this, you can put the Kagia side into play instead of putting the card into the graveyard.
So most of the time, I would expect you to be casting this as Flying Bamboo with Moon, using either Cruz Ballesta, or you're going to be using the like Moon's Breeze Memoria and Dark Moon's Memoria, as a part of your stone base to make this happen. Main thing is like toolboxes is what rulers you need, so you're not stuck with whatever rulers you start with. A lot of the 6 sages have really powerful start out abilities like Feetsing and Almerius, but don't have great utility going into mid game.
Like Almerius.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
and there's a lot of things that you can do, like with the Cruz Ballesta currently being able to start with the extra stone. You can start with that opener, and then if Cruz Ballesta doesn't serve any purpose after that, swap him out the Flying Bamboo, get somebody else in there. Maybe like a Miles to close out the game, Booge Dart to start sculpting through your deck. There's a lot of really, really solid implications the deck can do at that point.
Yep, you get a lot of value. You can get burn damage, you can get a really hard to deal with beater and zero. There's just a ton of options that the deck has. If you didn't start with Feetsing, obviously you can pull into a cancel that and give your rulers quick cast, which is absurd. But
yep,
turning the 6 sages from just a 2 team into a 6 team is just a good enough reason to put this card on the list.
Yep, for sure.
If you're playing a slower version of 6 sages or a fast version that can miss, this is the type of card that you would want in your deck.
Yep. And then we're not even gonna... That's only talking about the Flying Bamboo part. Kagia just doubles your mana.
Also very true.
Like, that's insane. Card...
Yeah.
If the card basically has, like, pseudo-taunt at this point. Basically, like, if you don't remove it, it's just gonna snowball out of control most of the time. Like, you put it on turn 2.
Basically the Odin from Vingolf 2.
This is some Now You Feel Old Yet.
Yeah.
Or careful who you call ugly in middle school. No, but the fact that she, like, having her stay up on turn 2 means that you go into turn 3 with 6 will, essentially, which is absurd.
Yep. You have to kill it.
Yeah.
You just lose the game on the spot if you do not kill this card.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, it can be backed up by using Flying Bamboo to switch out your tapped ruler into Feetsing. It's like, hi, there's a cancel behind this Kagia that I just put into play. Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. It's absurd things you can do with this card.
Yeah, this card was almost behind Ultra Magic Stone Golem. I'm very happy that it did not get stuck behind that thing.
Yeah, this thing definitely has that kind of... can snowball far more out of control than most other cards.
Big dick energy. That's what it's got.
It's true. Somehow Kagia always has that. But anyway, on to the next one. Got the Magic Stone of the 6 Sages, which Joey adamantly told me should be on the list despite us never putting Magic Stones on our lists.
Okay, so normally when we talk about Magic Stones, they're just like, okay, here's a green stone that I could sack to draw a card. How much can I really talk about that card? This time, we have a Magic Stone that has an enter effect that's positive for you, which is recover a ruler. It has a tap to produce 1, but you don't care about that because it's also can produce will of any attribute, but only if you control a recover J ruler. Well, good thing the stone recovers your ruler for you. Like, hello?
Not to mention, I know we were talking about this a little while ago, like last week or this week.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about the fact that as long as you just tap the stone for whatever color you need before you tap your stone for the turn, there's 0 downside to this card.
Yep. So if you're playing a ruler if you're only playing 1 ruler, let's say you're playing Lilius, like, alright, I'm going to start my turn. I'm going to tap this for red. Okay, now I'm going to go and call a stone. I still have that red. It's still there. It doesn't matter if I get one of these stones again. I've already have the red that I needed for the turn because I know I'm going to spend red.
Yep. Literally the only downside to the stone is the fact that you have to produce a will without knowing what stone you're getting next turn, but that's almost a moot point at this point, right?
You would have to, like, treat it as, like, I don't know, probably like a 20% chance that you're hitting a stone that doesn't produce what you need for that turn. You can. It's very easy to play around what you're trying to hit for the turn.
Yep. The odds are always going to be in your favor on this card.
Especially since 4 of your stones are going to be rainbow stones. So if you already hit one, you know, you have 30% of your stones is already another rainbow stone. Like
33% because one of them's gone.
Right.
Unless you're
the math is pretty much.
Unless you're a moron who plays 20 stones, in which case you just deserve the loss.
20 stones of magic stones, 6 ages. So there isn't a ton to talk about, but it is the best rainbow stone. There's no drawbacks to this card. Having a ruler that has a tap effect just makes it even better. This stone's absurd and it's going to go in every single deck, basically.
Yep.
So
can't wait for that price to skyrocket.
Yeah, if you see it being sold for cheap, buy it.
Yep. Just always gonna be good.
I'm not a financial advisor. Go buy it.
I'm not a financial advisor. Go buy it. Incredible.
But you must be wondering, what could possibly be better than your rainbow stone that does everything for you?
Well, we're gonna tell you.
What if one of the best cards from a different set got better?
Say hello
Are
to.
you interested?
Say hello to Kagia's Moving Butterfly number 2, Electric Boogaloo.
This time it costs 1 less.
Woo! So we've got the Awakening of Feetsing.
Yep, it is green X, chant. Search your deck for a resonator with total cost X or less, put it into the field. If this card was awakened, search for 2 resonators with total cost X or less, then shuffle your deck. What?
Yeah.
Who let this happen?
Somebody sure did. It was not me. So, biggest implications of this card. No.
Well, let me first reference what Moonbeam Butterfly was. That was green, white, X. And then you would search for a card with X plus 1, so...
This is that.
And you didn't get the option to awaken it to search for 2 resonators with that cost instead.
But although I will say the only difference is that Moving Butterfly could search editions.
Yeah, that mattered in the one circumstance where you got Dawn of the Earth.
Yep. That's it.
So... Just don't let them cast the Exorcist Mage or whatever before you play this, and you're good to go. You're gonna crush them.
So, other big implications with this card is the fact that obviously you have the ability to toolbox your deck. We have a lot of really good cards. We have a lot of cards from the Death and Taxes era, like Tsukuyomi Noble's back in the game.
Yeah.
Abdul doesn't count because now he's a 6 cost.
Hey, you pay 7 for it. Do it.
There you go.
We got the Mermaid.
Yeah, the Mermaid's not terrible actually, because it's basically just Guardian of Altian Law.
Yeah. There's a bunch of just different cards that just say, hey, if I put this thing out of my deck and it's going to start causing you trouble over time.
Yep, especially because you can just play one-ofs with whatever you want, really. This is a similar factor to like the Scheherazade card from the set that can pull out that Mermaid as well, but this one just lets you toolbox way more flexibly.
The fact that you can just like double your mana usage just by having Feetsing, which you already want to play because Feetsing's broken as a ruler.
Yep.
So I think it's worth it.
And then the last icing on the cake is that if you're playing the Feetsing Mylist deck, you just, produce the color, produce the red, produce the green, tap it, play this card, get the Sigurd out of the deck, get the 4 Schrodingers, and then this next turn, now since you mulligan 5, you're going to have the card that you need to give you 2 darkness and 2 light crystals, and you just swing for 4k on turn 2.
Yep. And they're dead.
They're dead. That's it. That's all she wrote. Game over, dude.
But cards like this are just absurd because, first of all, Feetsing's a huge consistency engine herself, just being able to do 3 mulligans, and on top of that, having Ultra Moonbeam Butterfly to tutor out whatever you need from your deck. Like, we might just see like people do like double Morgiana or stuff like that, and then start turbo drawing and stuff like that. There's gonna be gross stuff that this card does.
Yeah, just having the ability to just tutor out whatever 1-drops you want with Feetsing is kind of big.
people already play Magna's Guardian Beast as a way to tutor out 1-drops. Like, people are willing to pay 3 on a Resonator to get 2 1-drops out of their deck. This card does it for 1 less.
This is going in Minha's Ragnarok deck, Joey.
Yep. Do broken stuff there too. I mean, we still have what the heck is his name? The dude that has strangers in his main board.
Oh, Magna.
Yeah, Magna can play this, and he gets 4 of this, but you know he doesn't get two of them because he doesn't have feat sync. But still,
yeah,
you know, still gets to pull a 1-drop out of his deck and win the game on the spot because it's probably a dark Prince of Amon or whatever.
Yeah, Amon's pretty
Prince. Good. So
I'm on a boat.
So the spoilers, this card's pretty ridiculous. Look out.
But it's not as ridiculous as our number 1 slot.
I wonder what it could be. It could be anything. I hope it's not a cancel. I hope it's not a green card.
Well, it's not a cancel.
Yeah. I hope it's not a green card.
It's a green card. Remember how blue got a really good counterspell for 2 mana this time around?
Yeah.
Welcome, Welser, Master of the Six Sages. So
he's kind of a cancel.
Yeah,
kinda.
He's 2 green for a quick cast. He's a human wizard. That's kind of crazy. When he enters, you return target spell to its owner's hand, and if this card is put into its effect by its other side, you remove from the game and put 2 +1/+1 counters on each J ruler you control. And Joey, what does his last lecture do?
It's quick cast, recover a ruler you control. If it is a 6 Sages, put this card, Welser, Master of the Six Sages part, into the field instead of putting this card into the owner's graveyard. Why? Why is this card so ridiculous?
This is nuts. Force of Will is a game where every inch counts. And if you stop your opponent's stuff by bouncing it back to their hand and they're mana deficient on it, you're winning that game, bud.
Alright, let's assume that they can't read the card and we need to explain to them why this card is absurd. Alright, so first of all, there's a card called Final Breeze they used to see a bit of play. Mostly, they were using it for the torrent mostly, but it was still a decent card, where it just returned the target spell to its owner's hand. This one does it. It's still a 2-drop, but it also comes with a 6/6.
And
okay.
And you can play the 1 will side of it that recovers your ruler, and if it was a 6 Sage, you just get the enter effect, so you pay half the will for your Final Breeze.
Yep.
And you put counters on your J rulers for some reason.
At least you don't get the 6/6, but
wow, amazing.
So 1 will Final Breeze, and you get your ruler back. Tap abilities.
Judgments.
Yep. Because hey, if you're playing feat sync, suddenly you might be able to just, throw another cancel behind that cancel.
Cancel. Absolutely absurd.
So gross.
Yep. This card might be one of the strongest cards this game's ever seen.
We banned Kagia.
Yeah. Banned Seal on legs. What do we do with Final Breeze on legs?
That costs like half as much mana.
No. I guess.
Instead of being 3-2, it costs 2-1. No.
It doesn't give you the body. At least it doesn't also win you the game on top of winning you the game.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, maybe it isn't the best card ever. It doesn't have a win condition built into its Resonator effect.
Or a body, if you play it for its cheapest cost.
But, well, that's the best card, so Just saying, if you're playing 6 sages, you get a. So if you're playing Mujjar, you get an extra draw. If you're playing Feed Sing, you basically played the card for free because you get a chant roll back.
If you're playing Milest, you can deal another 2 to their face.
We're not doing that.
We're not doing that.
Okay. We're not doing the Almerius one either.
What? You don't want to give your nothing +2/+2?
Maybe later, maybe.
Okay, cool. But anyway, if you can't tell by our reluctant sighing on this card, this is our number 1 slot for good reason. And this has been the top 10 cards of Magic Stone Wars 0. Hope you guys pull a lot of these, and not a lot of everything else. Actually,
Don't
no
pull
way.
the other mythic rare. Well, there was one other good mythic rare. But anyway, this has been Joe.
And Mike.
From Deepwood, Forest of Will.
Deepwood.
And we wish you all the best. And hope you guys are as excited for this as we are, because it is going to be a lot of fun to play with these cards.
Yep. Except for the, really broken ones. But everything else is really interesting and fun. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's all Walser's fault.
Happy building, everyone. I'm excited to see some hot, spicy brews here.
Yep, and until then, we will be signing off.